Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President, Employee Marketing and Engagement, Salesforce, Jody Koner.
Yay! Hello, you did it! You made it to day 4 of Dreamforce! Give yourself a round of applause! All right. My name is Jody Koner. I am the Senior Vice President of Employee Marketing and Engagement. And roughly translated, this means I get to focus on our culture and making really great employee experiences. I have been at Salesforce for 7 years. This is my 8th Dreamforce, and I am telling you right now, like on this stage, this is like the pinnacle of it all. I love day 4 of Dreamforce. I prioritize this every year. I think it is this incredible gift that Salesforce gives us. Right? In this huge, magical, like Disneyland-esque kind of tech conference, there is one day that it is not about your customers. And it is not about your company. It is about you. And how often do we really give ourselves permission to just look inside, right? So, before we get going, it's been a pretty big week. What I want us to do is we're all going to take a deep breath together, okay? Let's do this. You're not breathing over there. All right. Let's set an intention for today. Today we have some of the most phenomenal speakers taking this stage, and each one of them has a little gift for you. It's a little spark. And if you grab it, it just might ignite something really meaningful in your soul. Maybe it'll become your own personal platform for change. And so what I want you to do is I want you to listen for it, I want you to grab it, I want you to write it down, and then, and I am not kidding, I want you to tweet it. All right? I want you to tweet it because we know when you put your intentions out into the universe, you get the support that you need. So when you tweet it, you're going to use this hashtag, DF18intentions, right? DF18intentions. And then later on in the day, I'm going to come back and I'm going to read back to you some of the things that you're putting out there, all right? So, are you ready to get started? Are you ready to get started? All right, that's what I wanted to hear. All right, our first speaker is Dr. Deepak Chopra. Yes, it's okay to applaud. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. All right, so Dr. Deepak Chopra started contemplating the relationship between mind, body, and spirit when he was 6 years old. His life's journey has taken him from being a world-renowned medical practitioner to being a Buddhist monk with no shoes and relying on the kindness of others for food. He is a renowned pioneer in integrative medicine and personal transformation. He is the founder of the Chopra Foundation and the co-founder of Jayo.com and the Chopra Center for Wellbeing. Time magazine has named him one of the top 100 heroes and icons of the century. The World Post and the Huffington Post Global Survey ranked Dr. Chopra number 17 on the world's list of most influential thinkers and number 1 in medicine. He has written 85 books. They have been translated into 43 languages. There are 25 New York Times best-selling books. The list, it goes on and on. So please help me give Deepak Chopra a really warm Dreamforce welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. This is my 4th or 5th time here, and I'm thrilled to be here with all of you. I'd like to start with a little bit of mindful awareness right off the bat. So I'm going to ask you a question, and the answer to the question is yes. Okay? So when I ask you the question, you're supposed to say yes. Are you aware right now? A little more enthusiasm. Are you aware right now?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask the same question, but don't answer it till I raise my hand. Everybody clear? Don't answer the question. Same question. Then when I raise my hand, you can say yes. Are you aware right now? So the question is a thought, and the answer is a thought. You're not a thought. You're the one who's experiencing the thought. And that's all we need to know, because that presence between our thoughts, between our perceptions, between the sensations in our body, between our emotions, is the presence of spirit. We can just call it presence. So let me ask you the question again. Are you aware? This time don't answer it. Just be aware of that which is having this experience. Also the experience of your own body, your mind, this room, it's all happening in you right now. So when I say, are you aware, just slip into this presence. Are you aware? If you carry this presence with you, wherever you go, you're all set. So thanks for coming. Bye. Okay, so let me show you a short video that'll tell you how you got here. I presume everybody knows how they got here, right? Let's see how you really got here. Congratulations. You've all made that journey very successfully. And now you're here. So at the moment of conception, there are 25,000 genes. A gene is a stretch of DNA that codes for a protein or a unit of heredity. So genes are housing DNA. I mean, we use this word a lot. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, and it's 4 chemical bases. And they're usually abbreviated as the 4 letters of the alphabet, A, T, C, G. So right now I'm speaking to you in English, which has 26 letters. But all of life has only 4 letters. And that includes the life of a microbe, or the life of a plant, or an animal, or a human being. About 65% of your genes are the same as a banana. 70% of your genes are the same as a mouse. About 75% of your genes are the same as a fruit fly. That's why people can do experiments on these creatures and extrapolate onto humans. 99%, almost 99% of your genes are the same as a chimpanzee or a primate. What about these chemicals? What are they made of? A, T, C, G, that make up your DNA. They are made of the usual elements that we find anywhere: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. 96% of all the atoms in your body are just those 4. If you want to remember the acronym, CHON, C-H-O-N. And then the rest are calcium in your bones, and iron in your hemoglobin, and all of that. So where did these atoms come from that are right now in your body? These atoms were forged, literally, in the crucible of burning stars. So billions of years ago, giant stars started to exhaust their thermonuclear energy, and as a result of that, there was fusion of hydrogen and helium in what are called supernova, and that created the elements in your body right now. As of today's scientific model, we are told by astrophysicists that there might be 2 trillion galaxies. So we live in the Milky Way galaxy, which is 100 billion stars. Right next door is a galaxy called Andromeda, another 100 billion stars. Then Virgo, another 100 billion, keep going. After this, astronomers don't give names, they just give numbers to galaxies. But 2 trillion galaxies, 700 sextillion stars, and we are now told uncountable trillions of planets. In fact, there are now departments of astrobiology in major institutions looking for life in what are called exoplanets. The current estimate is there might be 60 billion habitable planets in just the Milky Way galaxy. So why am I sharing all this with you? Well, it took the whole universe to create your presence right now. The whole universe had to conspire with mathematical precision so you could exist. Now, whatever we call this anthropic principle, but it remains a huge mystery. There are 3 mysteries that are totally unsolved in science today, and they're called the open questions in science. One is, what was the cause of the Big Bang? The second is, how did life emerge? And the third is the fundamental nature of reality. So I would like to actually take you through a little journey, because ultimately this has everything to do with what we call well-being, fulfilling our dreams, maximizing our potential, all of that. We have to understand what is reality made of. What's the universe made of? And I'm not going to tell you that everybody knows what the universe is made of, other than everyone agrees that it's made of nothing. Everyone agrees it's made of nothing. 70% of the universe is a mysterious entity called dark energy. That leaves 30% of the universe, which remains, of which 26% is another mysterious entity called dark matter, because dark matter is not atomic. It's not made of atoms, and so we can't interact with it, and it's invisible. The only reason it's called matter is it creates most of the gravity in a galaxy. So if there wasn't any dark matter, again, we wouldn't exist. But we don't know what it is. 4% of the universe is atomic, of which 99.99% is invisible interstellar dust. And that leaves only 0.01% of the universe, which is visible. That's the 2 trillion galaxies I'm talking about. 2 trillion galaxies that I'm talking about. That's 0.01% of the atomic universe. And when you start looking at atoms, any scientist will tell you they have a schizophrenic nature. When you're looking at atoms, or when they're interacting with other atoms, they behave like particles, which means they have units of mass and energy. But when you're not looking at them, or when they're not interacting with other particles, they disappear into what are called waves. So unlike atoms and particles, which have units of mass and energy, waves have no units of mass and energy. And if you ask scientists, what are these waves made of? Because presumably everything is made of something, although now we are saying that something is nothing. So what are these waves made of? Like the ocean waves are made of water, the air waves, these sound waves are made of the vibration of air molecules. What are the waves that give rise to the whole universe? What are they made of? And the best answer you'll get is they're made of infinite possibilities. It's a good answer because that's fundamental reality. Fundamental reality is infinite possibilities. And since we are part of all of reality, we are part of the universe, we're not separate from it, then our ground state is that also of infinite possibilities. You, as a being, have infinite potential because reality comes out of infinite potential. So I've had a pretty long journey now as a physician. I trained in internal medicine, and then endocrinology, and then neuroendocrinology, and then somehow got interested in integrative medicine, which then took me to this journey of why do we exist? What's the purpose and meaning of our existence? And why do we do what we do as human beings? We are the only creature that asks ourselves these questions. Who am I? What's the meaning and purpose of my existence? And what do I want? So when I started my journey in this direction, after a lot of questioning of patients and who wanted to get better, why do you want to get better? And they always gave me a reason. But then the final reason was always, I want to be happy. So I would say that happiness is the ultimate goal of all other goals, whether it's being healthy or having a good relationship, making money, being successful. Ultimately, that is what is driving each of us. Reality is consciousness expressing itself as experience. We're all having an experience right now. And experience is what we call mind, body, and the physical world. Your mind is an experience you're having in your innermost being. You experience your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your desires, your instincts, your drives, your imagination, your intention. This is all experience. Similarly, you experience the body. The body is an activity. If you saw that process, that activity is the activity, the story of the universe manifesting right now through its own force of dreams as your physical body, your mind, and the experience you're having. So it's a great, great, interesting thing that we forget the magnificence of existence and the magnificence of the awareness of existence. There are two things. One, there's existence. The second is, we are aware that we exist. And if we have this amazing universe manifesting as the body-mind experience right now, and it hasn't stopped for 14 billion years as an activity, then we should begin to recognize that we are not the activity, but we are the awareness in which that activity is occurring. That's what mindfulness really means, to be aware of experience as it is happening. And if you're aware of experience as it's happening, you automatically find the reasons that science today shows bring us happiness. So this is what social scientists today call the happiness formula. So H stands for happiness, S stands for the set point in the brain, which is a brain mechanism that allows you to see the world as opportunities or as problems. So if your set point in the brain is always such that whenever you see a situation, you complain, condemn, criticize, or play the victim, then you're an unhappy person. If your set point is such that you look at the same situation and you say, what's the opportunity here? And what are the possibilities here? Possibilities. If you live in possibility, then you're a happy person. So what creates that set point? Because that set point, S stands for set point, is about 50% of your experience of happiness every day. And what creates that set point is the conditioning that we are exposed to, our mind is exposed to, when we are very little. So when you are less than 5 years of age, and as you grow up to 8 years, your brain, the child's brain, mirrors the neurons of its caretakers and parents and siblings. And if your parents were complaining, condemning, criticizing, that's what your brain does. It gets programmed to be unhappy. But on the other hand, if you heard things that were joyful and you had lots of attention, appreciation, affection, tenderness, and acceptance, then you have a set point for happiness. Can the set point be changed? Yes, it can. That's why we're here. The set point can be changed through being mindfully aware and through reflection, what is called reflective self-inquiry. The second part of that formula says conditions of living, C. So C stands for conditions of living. And these conditions of living are mostly to do with material conditions. A good house, lots of income, security, etc. And so that C part of the formula is about 15% of your daily happiness experience. If you win the lottery today and you win $20 million, You'll be ecstatic for a while. In 6 months, your happiness will plateau. And by the end of the year, you'll be back to your set point, because set point is how you see the world. In any case, conditions of living are about 15% of our happiness experience every day. And the third part, V, stands for voluntary choices that we make every day. And there are two kinds of choices that we make every day. One is a choice for personal pleasure, which includes entertainment, all the fun you have, alcohol, and all kinds of things, shopping, consumption, sex. Do these choices make us happy? Yes, they do, but the happiness is short-lived. It lasts for about a few days after you've made the choice. Then you have to repeat it. And if you have an addictive personality, then of course, pleasure can lead to addiction. There's a second kind of choice that human beings make, and that is the choice for meaning and purpose, and the choice to make other people happy. And if you make that kind of choice, then that is called fulfillment, and that leads to lasting happiness. So happiness being the goal of all goals, this is what we know today about the formula for happiness. As I'll share with you, it's not a complete formula, but it does set us on the right path. What about health and well-being? Well, if you saw that video, then you will realize that our health and well-being is dependent on three key sources of information in our body. The first is our own genome, the 25,000 genes that you have that actually creates the human body. The second is another set of genes that you have. As you came into the world, you acquired 2 million extra genes. So your parents gave you only 25,000 genes. But you acquired 2 million genes as you entered the world. And these genes are called microbial genes. They're referred to as the microbiome. And right this moment, this microbiome is in your skin, it's in your gut, it's in your mouth, it's in the genitalia, it's in all the openings of the body. And this is contributing 150 times more genetic information than you got from your parents. So for every gene that you got from your parents, you have 150 extra genes from the environment, from the world, from food, from interaction with other people. Just the simple acts of eating, breathing, digestion, metabolism, elimination, and food give us these genes. And it is the interaction between human genes and microbial genes that creates what we call homeostasis, or self-regulation in the body. In addition, there's a third source of information in the body. So the first is the genes you got from your parents. The second is the microbiome. And the third source of information in your body is what is called the epigenome. Epi because epi means above, so above your genes, there's a sheath of proteins that regulates and integrates the activity of your genes and your microbiome. It's these three things. So what is the epigene made of? As I said, it's made of proteins, but these proteins are a result of what we call everyday experience. So right now, whatever experience you're having, it's epigenetically modifying, both in the brain and everywhere else, your gene activity. And experience, whether it's mental experience, emotional experience, or physical experience, whatever the experience is, it's metabolized in our body into this epigene activity, which then integrates genes and microbiome. It's very exquisite, this whole dance that is happening in your body for what we call self-regulation. Self-regulation, homeostasis, and it seems to be an activity of the total universe. The self-regulation is happening in plants, in the ecosystem, and if we don't destroy our planet with climate change and extinction of species, then self-regulation and evolution are spontaneous. What are the most important experiences you can have on a daily basis to self-regulate your body? So you'll be surprised, just these, okay? Sleep. Sleep is probably the most underestimated way to get into balance. But every night we go to sleep. There are two phases, deep sleep, there's light sleep, there's dream sleep. In deep sleep, your body renews itself, you remove amyloid from your brain, you regulate your hormones, including the hormones that are responsible for appetite, but all the other hormones responsible for self-regulation. In dream state, you clear your mind and you renew your mind. And in the deepest stages of sleep, you get to the source of all experience, which is awareness, which spiritual traditions call the soul. Meditation and stress management are the second strategy here. Over the last 15 years, we've done lots of research now to show that even a simple practice of meditation, and I'll lead you through this at the end of this talk in a few minutes, even a simple practice, daily practice of meditation will change your gene activity very significantly. So genes that cause homeostasis, self-regulation, healing, they go up. Genes that cause inflammation go down. Only 5% of disease-related gene mutations are fully penetrant, which means at this moment we don't know how to prevent those 5% genetic mutations that cause chronic disease. But it's only 5%. And for those, new technologies are coming, like CRISPR, where you'll be able to edit genes, cut and paste genes in the same way that you cut and paste your emails. But that'll happen only for 5% of disease. The rest depends on the things I've listed here. Okay, so your 95% of your genetic activity is regulated by the things I've listed here. We now know that with a simple daily practice, you can upgrade your genes 17-fold over baseline. You can increase your telomerase by 40%, and that's the enzyme that controls how we age. So mindfulness, of course, gives you what we call peace and joy and equanimity, but it also accelerates self-healing and also increases the activity of those enzymes that regulate our biological clock. The third thing listed there is movement, but I've also listed yoga and pranayama because these are very specific ways to stimulate visceral nerves that cause healing in different organs. So when you do, how many people do yoga? Wow. So when you do yoga asana, asana means seat of awareness. When you do yoga asana, then with every single posture or movement in yoga, you stimulate different nerves in the body. And the most important of these is the vagus nerve, which is the 10th cranial nerve that goes from your brain, goes to your heart, regulates your heart rate variability, which is the best, one of the best measures to see if you're stressed or not, but it also regulates the activity of your lungs. It goes into your abdomen after it pierces the diaphragm, regulates the activity of all the organs in the body. So yoga and yoga postures and yoga asana combined with breathing techniques called pranayama have very specific self-regulation in different parts of the body, and you can direct your attention to these parts. That's why yoga should also be done mindfully, means with full awareness and present moment awareness and directionality and intentionality. Okay, so that's the third thing. Now we know clearly that emotions like love, compassion, empathy, joy, equanimity, peace cause self-regulation, and emotions like fear, anxiety, any stressful situation, guilt, shame, depression, all these cause inflammation, which is the common factor in almost every chronic illness. There's a low-grade inflammation in the background. Nourishment, similarly, when I was a practicing physician, and I still am a practicing physician in our center, but I'm talking about a long time ago when patients came to me and said, I changed my diet and my asthma went away. Or I changed my diet and my arthritis went away. Or I changed my diet and my oncologist was astonished at how fast I went into a remission. So I never believed them because I had no basis for understanding how a shift in diet could change and reverse a chronic illness. But now we know that as soon as you put food in your body, the first thing it interacts with is the microbiome, those 2 million extra genes that you have. And if those genes are inflamed because your food is coming from a factory, is full of chemicals and antibiotics and hormones and all kinds of petroleum products, which is a lot of manufactured and refined food, then it causes dysfunction or dysbiosis or inflammation in the microbiome, which ultimately also results in chronic illness. And changing diet will change gene expression in the microbiome within less than 6 weeks. You can actually dramatically change your microbiome. And today there are technologies, again, that can look at stool sample and give you with precision the gene activity of your microbiome. And you can change your diet as long as your diet has a lot of diversity in plant-based foods and is coming from the earth, not through a factory, then farm to table, then you are healing your body as well, and very dramatically. And the last thing in that list is what we call biological rhythms. So because we are a story of the universe, then everything that's happening rhythmically in the universe affects us. And so we have 4 biological rhythms in our body. The first is called circadian rhythm, as the earth spins on its axis, the cycle of night and day. If you have jet lag, that's what is disrupted. And then there are other rhythms. As the earth goes around the sun, we have seasonal rhythms. There are planetary rhythms that coincide with the cycles of the moon, gravitational rhythms or tidal rhythms. So all these rhythms are synchronized with each other. And if you take a little time to walk barefoot on the earth, or barefoot on the grass, or barefoot on the beach, or even have time to hug a tree, you're connecting your body with the body of the earth. And now a lot of very good data shows that when you're connected to the earth, which all animals are, by the way, except human beings, when you're connected to the earth directly, free radicals are neutralized, negative ions come from the earth into your body, reset your biological rhythms, and decrease inflammation. So just these 6 pillars are the most important things you can do to regulate your biology. Now, since I was given an hour, I thought I might as well cover everything. So the next slide shows you how to be an extraordinary leader. And because ultimately, it's not only about our seeking personal happiness and our seeking good health and well-being, but how do we take this understanding to what is called the corporate world and the world of business and create an ecosystem of leadership which helps each other, where we can help each other evoke the best kind of well-being and joy and happiness. So here's again the acronym that tells you everything about leadership. To be able to look and listen not only with the eyes of the flesh, but also with the eyes of the mind, and ultimately process information at the level of being or soul. Great leaders know how to bond with each other and foster bonding. Great leaders know how to create a system where everyone's strengths are recognized, where they are part of a team, where they share an emotional and spiritual bond. Great leaders expand from being reactive to intuitive and creative and visionary and insightful. They are action-oriented. They know the secrets of empowerment, which is true self-esteem, not being always in need for validation, being independent of criticism and flattery, but responsive to feedback, and being fearless. Great leaders also understand that true responsibility means integrity and authenticity. And great leaders recognize this miracle of existence that we call synchronicity. So, Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist, made this word very popular. Synchronicity means everything happening at the same time and everything synchronized with at the same time, which is how your body functions, which is how the universe functions. Only our ego mind functions in linear cause-effect relationships. So when you're totally connected and fully aware, then synchronicity happens. Synchronicity is the same thing as good luck, or meaningful coincidences, or being at the right place at the right time, or being aware to opportunities. So good luck is nothing but opportunity meeting preparedness. And that orchestrates what is natural. Synchronicity is the natural activity of biological systems of the universe and of the ecosystem. So many years ago, I wrote this book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. People are still reading it. And the reason I wrote this is we work too hard for success. We work too hard. And we have this idea that success comes from driving ambition, it comes from exacting plans, it comes from good presentations and good pitches, but actually success is the unfolding of potential which is infinite and which you already have in your current state of being. I'm saying current state of being, not current state of mind. And so these 7 laws are basically how nature manifests its intention, or the cosmos manifests its intention in every biological organism. You start with infinite possibilities, you set the cycle of giving and receiving, you make conscious choices, you expend least effort if there is resistance, anticipation, regrets, and you're not present to the moment, then of course there will be resistance. But nature's way is least effort, do less, accomplish more, and ultimately at the level of existence, do nothing and accomplish everything. And then those remaining spiritual laws, intention and desire, to have focused awareness, intention, to detach from the outcome, and to be totally process-oriented instead of outcome-oriented, and ultimately to find your purpose in life, which Eastern wisdom traditions called karma. So when you find your purpose, what you do is what you love, you have passion, your personal and professional lives merge, you have a great mission, and you are part of an ecosystem where there's shared vision, emotional and spiritual bonding, and complementing everybody's strengths, as in a sports team. And finally, in today's environment, we need, of course, to understand what the zeitgeist is of today's world, notwithstanding what we see as political conflict right now and all the partisan politics happening in the world, notwithstanding the violence and the destruction of the ecosystem. We are moving into an ecosystem which is giving importance to human dignity, to gender equality, to ethnic equality, to economic justice, to social justice, and ultimately to the broader ecosystem, which we call the environment, the biosphere. No business, no corporation, no healthcare provider can ignore this. So before I take you through an experience, this is what I do with corporate well-being and corporate training. I help people create their own soul profile, not their bio, but their soul profile. The soul profile means that you actually go to the deepest level of your existence to find the reason for your existence. What are the happiest moments in your life? What is the purpose of what you do? What is your contribution ultimately going to be to your family, to society and the world? What is your contribution to your business? What are your unique strengths and talents? And ultimately, what is your story? What would you like your legacy to be? All these things have progressively been my journey. But today I want to share with you something else. And that is, no matter how good your journey is, today I can say with confidence, at the age of 72, which I'm going to be in less than a month, I enjoy what I call perfect health. I have no illness, never been to a hospital, never seen a doctor, even though I'm one, and don't take medication. So I've had a pretty good life, but then you have to realize that one day, old age catches on. And one day, there is infirmity. And one day, there is death. And this is what has created, for eons of time, the human quest for spiritual understanding. So with that, I'd like to show you what I think is, next to my last slide, the great spiritual traditions of the East say that human suffering, ultimately existential suffering, or what we call the suffering or that comes from our existence as humans, is basically a result of not knowing the true nature of reality. As a result of not knowing the true nature of reality, we are constantly grasping and clinging at experience that is ungraspable. If I asked you, what happened to your childhood? You would say, it's gone. If I asked you what happened to your teen years, you would say, it's gone. If I asked you what happened to yesterday, you'd say, it's gone. If I asked you what happened to this morning, it's gone. What happened to 5 minutes ago? It's gone. What happens to these words by the time you hear them? They're gone. That's why the great German philosopher Wittgenstein, he said, our life is a dream. It's a dream. Because the past is ungraspable, the future is ungraspable, and this moment is over by the time I say this moment is over. So Wittgenstein said, our life is a dream, we are asleep. But once in a while, we wake up enough to know that we are dreaming. And this is what the Buddha also said. This lifetime is transient as autumn clouds. To watch the birth and death of beings is like looking at the movements of a dance. A lifetime is like a flash of lightning in the sky, rushing by like a torrent down a steep mountain. But waking up is there. Waking up from the dream is there. And that is the true dream force. To not only manifest the dream, but also know that you can wake up to that which is dreaming. Who or what is it that is dreaming what we call reality? And when we wake up, we realize that every form is a phenomenon. Every phenomenon is the arising and subsiding of mental activity and sense perceptions. And who we are is pure existence that is infinite potential. And it's our destiny to manifest an infinity of dreams, but we are not the dreams. We are the maker of dreams. So if that makes any sense to you, I would like to take my remaining time to take you through an experience. Would you like that? Okay, so please sit comfortably. Please use the backrest so your spine can be relatively erect. Keep your feet in your lap open. Keep your hands in your lap open, your feet on the ground, uncrossed legs, and please close your eyes. And let's start with just observing the breath. Notice your breath is a sensation. And like any other sensation, it arises, it's experienced, and then it goes. You cannot hold on to your breath. If you do, you start to suffocate. In the same way, you cannot hold on to a thought or a perception or any experience. You can just observe it. So just observe your breath. And now please bring your awareness to your heart in the middle of your chest. And mentally ask the question, who am I? What am I? Am I the changing experience of the body? Am I the changing experience of the mind? Am I the changing experience of the world? Who or what am I? As you ask that question, be open to any sensation, any image, any feeling, any thought that spontaneously comes to you. Who or what am I? And now mentally ask the question, what do I want? What is my deepest desire? Once again, allowing any sensation, any image, any feeling, any thought to spontaneously come to you. What do I want? Now mentally ask the question, what is my purpose? Why do I do what I do? What is my purpose? Once again, allowing any sensation, any image, any feeling, any thought to come to you. And now mentally ask the question, what am I grateful for? When you are grateful, you open the door to infinite possibilities. What am I grateful for? Allowing any sensation, any image, any feeling, any thought to come to you. And now for the final phase of meditation, we'll go a little deeper. So mentally, repeat your full name to yourself. I am Deepak Chopra. I am Jill Benioff. Just the full name, I am, followed by the first name and the last name. And bring into your awareness now, you can stop repeating your name, bring into your awareness every problem that you have right now, every stress that you have right now, every deadline that you have to meet, every dysfunctional relationship. Let it all come into your awareness. Lots going on. In every life, so much going on. So let it come into your awareness, all the things that you have to do. Now drop your last name and just repeat your first name a few times. I am Deepak, I am John, I am Mary. And now, allow your awareness to be filled with the happiest and joyful moments of your life. Any time from your life, even from your childhood. Just selectively allow your awareness to fill up with the most joyful moments you've ever had. And now, please let go of your first name and just repeat, I am, with no experience, no memory attached to it. I am, with no experience, no memory attached to it. And now let that go and just sit there resting as existence. Sit there resting as being. This is who we are. A being that manifests dreams through feeling, reflecting, speaking, and doing. Being has no location and time, no shape, no color. Being is formless. Being is infinite. Now please open your eyes and just be aware of this moment. Just be aware of now. God's language is silence. Everything else is a poor translation. Thank you.